Why are we learning about Henry VIII? Now I can imagine that the teacher who'd studied hard for many years and been successful and good enough to get a job at a particular public school that I was fortunate enough to attend might have taken umbrage to this question. He was probably already getting annoyed at having to constantly answer a stream of questions from me that he didn't feel he had to answer. He may have thought I was questioning his authority, trying to get him to justify himself, or maybe he thought I was just being cheeky. Either way, the result was the same. Regardless of however it was happening, this is how the conversation usually went with different teachers and different subjects. Sir, why are we learning about Henry VIII? Caplan, this is a history class. You will learn what I teach. Do not ask stupid questions, boy. But sir, I don't understand why we're learning this. What's the relevance? Caplan, ask me another question and you will get a detention. But sir, why would you do that? Detention. Ask me another question and you'll be off to see the head. Sir, what did I do? Now this is a clear example of how asking questions is often actively discouraged at school. You see, school wants you to answer questions, not ask them. School wants you to get qualifications. You get qualifications from passing exams, and you pass exams from having the right answers to their questions. School teaches you that knowing the answers to the questions gives you success. QED. So this is where we learn to have the answers, not ask the questions. Add to this the fact that society regards people that ask too many questions as being rude or intrusive, and this is possibly down to their schooling or their parents. Add to this the subtle propaganda from game shows. This is where if you have the answers to the questions you can win £1 million or whatever the prize is. Add to this the concept of films where asking questions can create humiliation for you. You only have to watch the scene, "Please sir, can I have more from Oliver?" to see the effect of that, and you can start to see how we're conditioned by what I call the Matrix to have the answers, to seek enlightenment through having the answers and not ask the difficult questions or any questions. Fundamentally, humanity has always sought to ask questions. We created the wheel because we wanted to know how to move from A to B, and yet the man in charge, the man in authority, does not want you asking questions, and it's the essential dichotomy of the human condition. But let's go back to that school concept and look at why are exams scary. Is it because we're being judged? Is it because we're afraid to fail? Is it because we don't want to be seen to be stupid by not having the answers? Exams can be scary, and a lot of people have exam anxiety because they're scared about not having the answers. And if you think about it, even once you've passed school, the fear doesn't go away, because what's the next scary thing you have to do when you leave school that involves you having to have the right answers? And of course, I'm sure you're saying to yourself, it's the job interview, because when you go for an interview, the idea is that you'll get the job if you can answer the interviewer's questions in the way they want you to, and that creates fear. And in a social setting, it's obviously changed, but when I was a young man, the idea of asking a girl out on a date filled me with anxiety, as I'm sure it still does to young men all over the world now. Fear of rejection, fear of looking stupid to your peers, fear of not having the right answer from the question we ask. So the fear of ridicule, the fear of being made to look stupid, the fear of rejection makes it hard for people to ask questions. But how do you control conversations? By being the one asking questions. How do you sell professionally? By being the one asking the right questions. So I just want to go back to the school incident for a second. Earlier I said that my crime was asking questions. Really, my crime was asking the wrong questions. If you ask the wrong questions, you'll get the wrong answers. Conversely, if you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. The key is asking the right questions. In hindsight, at school, I would have asked a different question. I would have asked this: Sir, I appreciate that history and learning about Henry VIII is part of the syllabus. However, the situation is that I'm having difficulty understanding how this fits in to our modern lives. So I'd like to ask how Henry VIII is relevant to how we live in today's world. Would that be okay? Now I'm sure that would have got a more positive response than the questions that I asked at the time. The key to great selling is to understand this. The right question is the right answer. So with the question as the right answer, you have to be able to handle a question that you're asked. And if a customer asks you a question, you need to get into the habit of answering these questions with questions of your own. I'd like you to consider the following role play. It's a sample of a sales question that's happening all over the world in many different retail outlets. This particular one comes from a computer shop. Hello sir, do you like the matte black finish on this laptop model? It's okay. Does it come in white? Yes. Okay, thanks. I'll have a think about it. Now this is very common amongst salespeople. They're thinking that if they can just answer all the customers' questions, then they'll get the sale. And as we know, this couldn't be further from the truth. Stop being controlled. You've answered the customer's question and the conversation has ended. Let's try this next example on for size. It's the same shop and it's the same two salespeople. Do you like the matte black finish on this laptop model? It's okay. Does it come in white? Okay. Is white the colour you're looking for? Well, yes. Okay. Would you like to see a white one to compare the two colours before choosing the one you want to buy? Yes, that would be nice, thanks. Okay, let me fetch one out the back for you now. Would you be okay to wait for a moment while I get the computer? Yes, of course. It's significant how many more sales are made by salespeople who use the question acknowledgement system as opposed to standard salespeople who just answer all the customers' questions. Now here's another example. Do you do next day delivery? Alright. Do you want these items delivered tomorrow, sir? Well, yes. Okay, excellent. I'll just get an order form to get the address details. Or even this. Could you just send me some information about your products? Okay, I'll certainly send you the information you require, sir. However, we've got so much information about our wide range that I'd like to ask you a couple of questions so that we can send you the right information as opposed to overloading you with data. Would that be okay? Oh, okay. Great, thank you. So can I ask you, what size is your business? Etc, etc, etc. And you're back into being in control and asking the questions. So the key to great selling is having the ability to handle a question from a customer and ask them a question that's going to be relevant. As I said, the right question is the right answer.